Hey everyone, Justin Brawl here, and I'm giving you my review of episode 4 of Shokugeki Soma Food Wars. Third plate, The Pride of the Young Lions. And this episode is basically when someone graduates from a house cat, at least Kuga-senpai's eyes, into the fierce lion that he becomes. But before all that happens, we realize that by the end of day 3, Soma realized, I think it was by the end of, day 3, it was the fact that someone realized that he found some backdrops to Kuga-senpai's restaurant. It turns out the backdrop between all that is that huge line. Huge line is the fact that it expands outside the restaurant, but people have a tendency to be very impatient. And when parents bring along with their kids along, kids tend to get very needy when it comes to the food. They're hungry, they have to wait in line, they can't wait in line, they want to eat right now. So he goes to people who actually have elders, aching bags. It though took someone a while to realize that, but he managed to figure it out by turning his from the simple stool into the restaurant that fully became. And as of moving forward to the episode, I do have to point out that during the animation here, from the Kuga-senpai's cooking, doing all those like hup scenes, there was CGI along with a huge line there, which felt kind of weird. It did feel a little weird to see the CGI animation blend in with the 2D animation. I think there was one scene when the CGI line was there, CGI animation, but Megumi was the only one who did not. There was more close to Megumi that did not look CGI, basically traditional animation, which looked a bit off, and maybe it was the same CGI, maybe I can't exactly tell, but it did look like there was one spot Megumi in the back in the scene where she was like drawn not CG, but more traditional 2D animation. But in the terms of moving, actually, what I'm trying to say beforehand, right. I was trying to say here, like seeing the transformation from the stool, from a simple stall into the restaurant was basically he had to call in someone he called Tomito-san again, the guy with the glasses and the wavy hair who's in the desperate need of help ever since the whole Shokugeki was going to be falling in the hands of Izan-senpai with the whole chicken fiasco thing. Way back then during season 2. Yeah, during season 2. And there's also part of Megumi had to call in from Captain from her club to get the lantern to Billy when everything went dark. She has to club to get lanterns, even though she was afraid that they were not going to help her because she refused to help the booth at one point for this whole festival. But they go on their own. They helped her out because she was a member. So I think it went all nice and well. I do love this scene where basically during the beginning parts of the episode, Kuga-senpai was going against Yuki's face and he was like, please close up, hurry up, and basically that moment, one of the few moments that solidified the fact that the voice actor for Kuga-senpai definitely nailed it, because he definitely got the voice of a not just snotty character, and so Kuga-senpai was basically portrayed as I said in the first episode, or at least during the OVA combined with the first episode review. The voice actor nailed it because it was he was supposed to come out as like a snotty, obnoxious character from the beginning, but who I personally grew up to love moving forward. So that moment there, even though normally I would have expected someone to punch him or at least do something, if I was there, I would take a second to use a nail right in the face to tell him to shut up. But someone just took it because he just stood there and took it like a boss, knowing the fact that he has a trump card waiting for him. There's a trump card waiting for him on Saturday, which is day 4, which got us to hold the event transfer from the Sultan into a full-fledged makeshift restaurant with the tables and benches. And for the lantern setting up setting up the dark scene. That was all perfect. You can see the rankings. El Fuego, the Spanish Cuisine Club, managed to get 3rd place. Kuga-senpai switched one Chinese place, went down 2nd place. Well, Soma managed to gain 1st place with the help of, now of course, but not only with Soma and Tokuro, Megumi. There's also Isumi and Takumi Aldini, the Aldini brothers, Miyosaka, Subaru Miyosaka, and Mito Nikumi also have been out towards the end of that game, in the last leg of the push. At the time, basically when they were all crumbling, like Megumi was busy had to do some customer service. Mito stepped in with the food, while Megumi took care of the customer service. Miyasaka came in with the helping with the fooding, telling them to put all the dishes more out. While the Athenian brothers did their own thing. Like Isami did the noodles, while Isami did the also someone did for the noodles as well. They actually get it done towards the very end of the leg of the right, the beginning of it. It managed to beat Kuga Senpai, so that was basically a clear victory for Soma. Seeing the imagery, also seeing the young lions to go at each other, like see who's the king of the jungle, who's basically the king. But I do want to point out during the same scene with Tomito, I think it's Tomito-san. I said his first name, I mispronounced it, but the scene where he took the bite for the first dish, before I point out what gave Soma the win here, there was a dish that is on me with a meatball. The meat was in the middle of this, the noodle dish. I think it was the thing that's sitting in the meatballs of the noodles. He took a bite of. Then we started with the noodles. He ran out of taste, but when someone asked him to plunge the meatball in, he did, and ultimately blowed this huge fragrance with the glowing. So he actually told him, "This is the moon." He saw the moon. Of course, not literally, but figuratively means because he saw the golden sphere inside the meatball that gave out the huge fragrance to the line that built up the customers from Kuga Senpai's line to Soma's stall. And during the scene, during the time he was eating the scene, there was a small glimpse of the food gas. It's like one bite into the dish when the meatball was plunged, his clothes just came ripped off. There's also a small scene with a small little glimpse of a second where he went freaking from clear skin to skeleton. I don't know what were they thinking for the animation and everything, but it happened. It was there. I don't remember seeing it happen in the manga, but it was just for giving me a lot. It worked. There's also a small report towards the end of the episode, before the credits scene, where during the celebration, all the guys managed to finish. There's a small scene with glimpse scene with Tomito and they get the leader of the race of the Don RS Society. There's the two looking at each other. It's like, for some reason, I don't think you're a stranger to me. You don't look like a stranger to me. The two are very similar because these are basically the two biggest losers or crybabies ever in the series. But man, you can find some common ground. Like, you don't look a stranger even to me. That was surprising to see. Kind of get a bit of a laugh. Also, kind of a little bit of a small foreshadowing from Megami's side when she pointed out this guy that she was having out with back at the district, reminded her of him. Someone got the win. There's also a moment with Akira, Rio, and Alice, who are also doing good, who got the Rebellion as claiming top 3 spots, but managed just to do good. There was a small glimpse when these two are running away. We also look at one character with blonde hair and black streaks and sort of face tattoo or face makeup. And I know from the opening, so we read the manga, we all know exactly who that character is. And the way I looked at it was like, soon. It was basically looked like soon I'm going to take you on. I know what's happening, but that was just for an ending for mostly later on in the episode, mostly towards the middle part of Season 3. But when the episode, after the credits were rolling, there was a small glimpse of seeing how Naki's place was doing. A dinner night reservation. She said one table was left open, a good one, hoping it's just in case for him to show up. Of course, we all meant Jojo, because we got to tell she was meant to Jojo because we had that flashback there when she was a little girl who met Jojo. She does not know the relationship between him and Soma just yet, which we will get to see in the third scene. But the next title says the darkening dinner table, and I believe this is the episode we will get to see this character. I'm not going to spoil his name, but for those who read the manga, we all know who's going to show up next. As for anime only watchers, you have to wait until next week, or at least read the manga up to this point. At this point in the episode, where it's basically close like the day 4 of the Moon Festival. I know who's coming up next. I'm pretty sure we all know who else is coming up next. But the title said the darkening dinner table, and I am hoping this character makes appearance. I want to know how they do his voice. But that's not until next week. So this week was basically Soma's victory against Ku for day 4. He's basically out of the red. So taking over also who was also in the red. Seeing all the 6 characters we're together point to seeing the fact that we're going to see a smoke glimpse to what happens later in the series by that point. And hopefully this next character will make his appearance next week. So, my computer just went black for a second. Alright, here we go. And again, I'd say that in this next episode, I hope he comes in this next week's episode. And for those who are wondering, possibly for Black Clover, I watched the episode in the morning, but I had to do something in the morning. I had to leave, so I couldn't actually record. So I think I'll do the episode 4 of Black Clover, possibly tomorrow, because I think I have to rewatch. I'm rewatching the episode tomorrow, so expect that review to be up tomorrow. But for now, this episode was perfect. Everything went according to the manga, and I can't wait for next week to see this character appear. I hope he appears. I was expecting him to show up possibly towards the end of episode 4, but no, that was a bit of a small tease. So until next time, leave a like, subscribe to the bell, do to a friend, and I'll see you all next time. Later.